Buffalo. I have been in the business for 5.5 years. And I hate presentations, and so my anxiety and my heart's racing already, so bear with me. I could do this every day and do parties every day, and then talking to you ladies scares the hell out of me. But when I first started Pure Romance, I did it part-time. I was working full-time in a sexual health office at UB. So I had that sexual health background, and Pure Romance has just fueled my passion for sexual health to begin with. So 2 years into the business, I quit my full-time job to go full-time with Pure Romance, and since then I've been in grad school, which is crazy. I wish my life would be continued just Pure Romance, but that's not what it's going to be. But that's okay. And so I have my master's in mental health counseling, and I'm getting my second master's in marriage and family therapy, and then after that I'm going to get my certification to become a sex therapist. So we'll be talking about sex for the rest of my life, which is fantastic. And I intern right now in a sex therapy office, and so I do couples counseling, I do individuals counseling, and then I take sex therapy clients. So today, obviously a big chunk of our business is sexual health. And so I'm gonna go over some of the basics, some of the things that I talk about and incorporate into my demo to help enhance women's lives. And so we're going to go and we're going to be talking about anatomy and things like that. But first thing I need you to do is, again, take a blank piece of paper. You're gonna get 3 minutes to list as many slang terms for penis and vagina that you can think of. So create a list of both.
And I poke it.
One more minute.
I want to use things on my
Okay, so we're gonna start with vagina. We love so much. Shout them out. Box. Pussy. Taco. Veg, I heard. Twat. JJ. Hoo-hoo. Coochie. Snatch. Yeah. So, what was it? Scotch. Yes.
Somebody say vagina.
Cooter's my favorite. Cooter, yeah. Cooter, yeah. Okay. So lots and lots of different things that we call our vagina, right? I had a customer tell me that she taught her daughter to call her vagina a lunchbox. Oh, no. Right? Yeah, bad, right? Yeah. For so many reasons, bad. Richard, Jack, Peter. What, was beef injector? Was that what I heard over here?
The love stick.
Love stick. My favorite is purple-headed yogurt slinger. I like that one. Yeah. Right? What's the importance of knowing all of these different names?
None.
No, you're not supposed to call it that.
Yes. But if a client comes into your ordering room and she starts talking about her lunchbox, or my sister-in-law teaches her daughter to call it her bottoms, what area are we talking about here, right? And so it's important because everybody calls it something different, but being comfortable with those names, because when they come in and talk about their twat, you're going, what is this? What is this area? And then being able to confirm with them what they're actually talking about, right? So and when we're talking about it, somebody may say sex is punani, or it's going down, or it's hooking up. But what are they really doing, and what are they really asking about? And so it's important that we're aware of these things so that when our customers and clients are talking about it, we can decipher what they're actually talking about. It's really, really important that while you are doing your demo, you are not referring to any of those things that we just said, right? Everything should be anatomically correct. We should be talking about your clitoris and your vulva and your vagina and your G-spot. It's also important for family life. One of my biggest pet peeves, and I yell at my sister-in-law all the time, you should be teaching your children the anatomically correct names. God forbid if anything ever happened and they were sexually abused, calling it your lunchbox in court doesn't stand up. And so they need to know that it's their vagina and it's their clitoris, and being aware of that, and being, it's not your hoo-ha, it's not your winky, because it could, in court, it's not gonna hold up for you. Wow. And so it's really, really important you teach them those anatomically correct names for lots of reasons. And so, the other really sad thing about this is that most women don't know the anatomy of their vaginas. They don't know what parts things are. I constantly have clients saying, wait, that bullet, that goes inside of me? No, that's on your clitoris. Wait, where is that? And so it's important to be aware of where that is, where that's actually located. And so we're gonna go through. Ooh, sorry. What was that? No, I just have a few slides, so you're okay. We're gonna go over the female anatomy. So here's your vulva. Okay, so the vulva is the outside. Your vagina is inside. The vulva is the outside. What you're seeing here is not your vagina. And so your mom's pubis, which is up here, is your bone. That's where your hair is. Okay, the soft, spongy part on top of everything. Your clitoral hood is what is protecting your clitoris. So your clitoris is very, very sensitive. And so that hood is over it, because if someone starts going at your clitoris and they pull back that hood, it may not feel good, right? And so it's being aware of what that is. So that clitoral hood is really important. And then your glans clitoris. Your clitoris is made out of 8,000 to 12,000 nerve fibers. Only organ in the body that is made purely for purpose, or for pleasure. That's entire purpose is to get us off, right? And so we deserve our clitoris, to say the least, right? And the majority of women, 80% of women, need that clitoral stimulation in order to orgasm. And so lots of women think there's something wrong with them when they're having vaginal sex and they're not orgasming. There's nothing wrong with them. It's just that your clitoris is way up here and your vagina is way down here. So something's being mixed and missed. And so, along with your clitoris, we're gonna bump back. Your clitoris is not just external, it's also internal. It has legs. And so it goes and it absorbs. If you see those legs here, that's when it's flaccid. And so we grow just like men do, and when blood is being flowed and you're getting aroused. And so those legs extend 3 inches on each side. And so sometimes when you're getting clitoral stimulation and you feel like you need to pee, it's because those legs extend past your urethra, and so it's stimulating your urethra at the same time. And so that's where sometimes that sensation of needing to pee, besides the G-spot, and we'll get there, feels too. And so this is what it looks like as it extends. It kind of throws back. If you see, the legs are right here. The bulb of your clitoris is here, and then inside right there is where that leg extends back and it grows. And so when you when men tell you that they grow as well, you can say, so do I. Right? Exactly. Yes? I didn't hear you. Vaginal tenting, not your clitoris. That's your uterus. And so your uterus grows when you're getting aroused as well. This is just your clitoris. Yep. So then you have your labia. So you've got your labia minora and your labia majora. And so your labia majora is the outer lips of your vulva. So they're fleshy, they're covered in pubic hair, and they give you cushion when you're pushing. So every women's labia are different. I've had customers talk to me about how they want to get surgery because they don't like the looks of their labia and they think it's wrong and they shouldn't look like that, but every woman's is different. Your labia minora is the inner lips, and so they're hairless, and they cover your vaginal opening and your urethra. They're full of nerve fibers, blood flows, there's lots of blood vessels in there, so they start to engorge as the blood flows into your vulva and your vagina as you're getting aroused. And so then you have your urethral opening. That's where you pee from. And so, excuse me, so that's the tube that carries out bladder. That's also where you ejaculate from. And so it's one tube. You cannot come and go at the same time, is what I like to tell women, because they're afraid of peeing during sex. You can't do that. It doesn't work that way. So I tell people, stop going to the bathroom. Knock it off. You're ruining your orgasms. And so then you have your vaginal entrance. That's where penetration happens. That's where babies come out of. Excuse me. You have your perineum. So your perineum is the tissue between your vulva and your anus. It can be stimulated. There's lots of nerve fibers down there, so it can be very pleasurable for women to be touched there. And this one does not show your anus, so we're gonna go on. So this is the inside of your anatomy. And so you see your clitoris, your vagina, the anus, and the rectum. So everyone goes, not happening, I don't have anal play, it's nothing's going on back there. And so being upfront with your clients that anal play can be pleasurable. Your anus is full of nerve fibers, even if it's being touched on the outside, not being inserted. So it can feel good to just be pleasured right there. But it's really important that when you're talking about anal play that you keep a few things in mind. Number one, communication. Communication. You should know your partner is ready to stick it in the back door, right? Right, exactly. The whole, oops, sorry, wrong hole. No, they know what they're doing. Tell them to stop it, right? So they're not okay. Relaxation is important. You need to relax because if you're clenching and you're getting ready for that insertion, it's not going to feel good. It's not going to be able to be entered very easily. And then lubrication. Your vagina lubricates itself. So it provides you those vaginal secretions. Your anus does not. I tell my customers if it does, go see a doctor because it's really important there. And so you want that lubrication because otherwise nothing is going to feel good and tearing can happen. And so your anus is very, very sensitive. It's the number one, the most, what's the word that I'm looking for? Sorry. It's the easiest to pass infection through. It's the easiest to, the word is not happening right now. It's the easiest to tear. And so it's really important that they are aware of that as well. And so anal sex is not pound, 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 pound. It should be 1 inch per minute. That's how fast things should be going in and out there. And so it's really important that they are aware of that. Yes.
Sorry. So what would you tell a client who doesn't want to use lubrication for anal because she enjoys the feeling of anal tear?
You tell your client that she can get infection very, very easily.
You tell her the doctor she needs to meet straight.
Right?
For a long time.
That she can be causing some major damage to her body. And so that lubrication is an absolute must. If she's into pain, there are a ton of BDSM stuff that she can go into. No, you don't. Anal tearing is not fun. It can cause lots of problems down the way. Right.
I've been trying.
Yes. Right? Exactly. Sometimes it's just gonna come out and it's just gonna, yeah.
Oh my God.
No, bad. It's really, really important that you should never ever go from anal sex to vaginal sex. Okay?
Ew.
Never.
It's like wiping from the front to the back.
Right, yes.
The back to the
Infection
front.
can happen, the penis can have feces on it. You don't want that to happen. And people are having anal sex. According to the Kinsey Institute, which is the leading sex research institute in the country, about 25% of heterosexual couples are engaging in anal sex. But it doesn't happen as often, maybe as we think, 10% within the last year. So women can orgasm from anal sex as well. Women are like, what's the whole purpose? It's just he wants me to do it. No, it can be very pleasurable for you too. As long as you are relaxing, as long as you are, bless you, giving into that. So really important for that. So your vagina is a 2 to 4 inch birth canal, or it's used for intercourse. It has 3 functions: menstrual flow to leave your body, for sexual penetration to occur, however that happens, and then obviously to have a baby, to have the fetus pass. So with your vagina, excuse me, obviously has tons of nerve fibers. The first 3 inches has nerve fibers. After 3 inches, there aren't any nerve fibers there. We really don't need partners bigger than 3 inches. We don't tell them that. We keep that to ourselves. So, you know, it's important that women are like, oh, I need the big one, you know, give me Mr. Dependable, they don't really need it. The fun area is in those first 3 inches. Your vagina does, and your uterus expands. And so you were talking about vaginal tenting before, and we'll get there once we talk about the sexual, the phases of arousal. But, excuse me, it can grow, yes? A cervical what? So we'll get there when we talk about orgasms. Having your orgasm hit or your cervix hit is not pleasurable.
No,
It hurts like you're being stabbed. So an orgasm is all the same thing. So it's
She's
no
been
matter
hanging out
which
with the
way
anal
you're
chair
getting-
girl.
Right? Anal chair girl. No matter which way you're getting to that orgasm, it's all happening the same way. Your body's doing the same exact things. It's the big buildup and it's the release. So you can get there from different avenues, but it's all the same thing happening in your body. I've never heard of a cervical orgasm before. Yeah. So your uterus and your vagina can grow, and it lengthens to be ready for insertion, and it can grow up to 7 inches. So, yes. So, excuse me, when you're aroused. So, questions about the female anatomy, and we're going to get to the G-spot next. So far. With the anus, it's also really, really important that when you are talking to your customers that they use anal toys. Not a vaginal toy, not a clitoral toy, because what happens with your anus is there is no ending. It goes into your rectum, and then it goes into your colon, and then it goes into your intestines. And so if they're sticking something that does not belong in there, it can go, because it suctions. And then you get to go to the ER and you get to have fun.
The X-ray.
Yeah, they take pictures, they pass those x-rays around. Yeah, you get to go into
This is what that
sex
do.
sent me to the ER. So it's really...
You're on that show.
Right, right. You get your 15 minutes of fame, but making sure that they're aware of that, because lots of people are not aware of that. They don't realize that your anus suctions. And so if you put something in there that is not blanched out like any of our anal toys, it can get lost, for real. And don't lose it while it's on, because that's really uncomfortable. So, your G's, right? Yep. You pass people and it's like, bad.
Sorry, it's just my butt.
Right. I'm just happy to see you.
G-spot.
So your G-spot is in the area of 2 inches and 2 inches up, stimulating a come here motion. It's towards your belly button. It's soft, spongy tissue inside of your vagina. It's a sensation where you feel like you need to pee while you're having sex. Again, you're not gonna pee. And so what they say is that 13% of women can actually ejaculate or squirt. And so it's not, you know, vaginal secretions are what's coming out of that. What they say is that it's really, really, really diluted urine with vaginal secretions mixed in to it. So people think that they've peed the bed, they get all anxious and nervous. I just tell them that you've had a kick-ass orgasm, it's okay. Kick-ass! Right? Not a bad problem to have.
Isn't there even like traces of blood in it that I've heard?
There could be blood because of, you know, if you're tearing, you know, or anything during sex and stuff like that, there could be blood there.
Do you want questions now or at the end?
Doesn't matter.
Okay, I got one.
Okay.
So, I've read in a couple of different resources that when a woman squirts, that the fluid actually comes from glands.
It's, we have prostrate glands,
Right.
just like men do. And so they're sitting right outside of your urethra, and where your G-spot
Right
is.
outside of the urethra.
Yep.
Right outside of the...
So right here, so if you see here, where the urethra is where it's leading right there.
Yes.
They're sitting kind of right on the sides of those.
Okay.
And so those, the spongy tissue that you're feeling is really your prostate glands. And so those are being kind of filled up. It's not on the outside where you're
Right.
feeling it, it's on the inside of your, and so they're filling up with secretion. But then because they travel into the urethra to come out, you're getting the urine mixed in with it as well.
Right.
So they're your vaginal secretions, but that's,
Thank you.
yes, that's where it's coming from. So, all right, we ready to talk about the penis?
Yeah.
Your male anatomy.
I know.
So,
Little guy.
right. Just a little guy. So the shaft of your penis contains 3 chambers, and they run the length of the organ. And so these chambers are filled with soft, spongy tissue, and they are surrounded by membranes. And so it contains muscles, it contains fibrous tissues, veins, arteries, things like that. And so your glans penis is the bulbous cap-like structure of the penis. And so it's the head of the penis is what it really is. And so it's the most sensitive part. The fun thing about us versus men is that our clitoris contains those 8 to 12,000 nerve fibers. Just the clitoris. The whole penis contains 8 to 12,000 nerve fibers. So we've got one up on them because we got a whole lot more than they do. And so sometimes there's foreskin, sometimes they're not, depending on if they've been circumcised. You have the frenulum, which is the veiny part of the shaft of the penis. It's the triangle there. And so it's right below the glands. It can also be very, very sensitive for men, and they may like that stimulated. So the scrotum is where the testicles are housed.
That's where we keep them.
Right, that's just where they belong. Where they belong. And then of course there's the urethra, which empties the bladder, and that's where they ejaculate as well. So it's one tube for men as well. They have their testicles, which are those 2 egg-shaped glands that produce sperm and testosterone. Lots of men also enjoy their testicles being played with. They have their prostate gland, so that's their prostate. I can't ever say it right. Prostate gland produces 25 to 30% of semen. It can be stimulated during anal play. That's why there are anal toys for men. They like that. They can orgasm from it as well.
So I have to pretend they don't.
Right, they do.
They're scared.
Yes. Yeah. Right. Yes.
Okay, this might be a ridiculous question, but if a guy finishes inside you, like in your anus, you have to like poop it out, right?
So it can travel and it can go up into your body just like because it's not, it's not going. So it will poop out eventually because your poop's coming out that way. So yeah, it's not like it's going to end up in your stomach or anything because you've got your feces that block from wherever it is. Yeah. So, yeah.
Damn. That's a question. Just eat lunch.
All right, so any more questions? Yes.
I'm so happy it's cold.
Huh?
How do you? That's a hard demo for me. To,
Anal stuff.
Yeah, anal stuff
Okay.
for men.
For men.
Like the prostate pro. Just real quick, like.
So prostate pro, again, you can say how, that it's pleasurable for men to have that anal stimulation. They can orgasm from it. And so it's them being open to it. And it's kind of like the G-spot for women. It's very, very sensitive. It can be highly arousing. And so it can be, pleasurable for them. And it's, yes. Yes.
And what do you say when she goes? He's not gonna let me put anything near his ass, right?
My natural communication.
Yeah.
It's all about communication, and it's talking about sex outside of the bedroom. Because when the majority of couples are talking about sex in the bedroom when it's not happening or when things are happening, and they're in the moment and they're either frustrated because things are not happening for them, or they're having a lot of fun, so things are great right now. But if there's serious conversation that needs to happen, it needs to be at the dinner table or out at one of wherever you are. Right, yeah. So it's really about communication and openness. If he doesn't want to do it, same thing if we're not comfortable with something.
Right.
So the sexual response cycle. So there's a ton of different thoughts and theories on the sexual response cycle. This is the sexual response cycle that Pure Romance uses. And so your first phase is desire. Desire is important. That's the want to have sex. It's feeling sexy. It's getting in the mood. Am I interested? And so this also can be referred to as your libido. Many things can affect it. Many women have a low libido. Don't necessarily want to be having sex all the time, and that's okay. Big things that affect it: birth control is huge. One of the biggest side effects. Think about it. If you don't want to have babies and you don't want to have sex, then you can't have babies. So, antidepressants are another big medication that can affect that libido. And so, sleeping, stress, sleeping patterns, eating patterns, if you have stress, if you're not happy in your relationship, all of those things can affect your libido. One of the biggest things that I have customers coming into my ordering room is saying, I don't want to have sex, I have no sex drive, what do I do, what's wrong with me? Nothing's wrong with you, it's a part of life. Unfortunately, women are not as sexual as men are sometimes. Ohio University did a study on how many times each gender thought about sex throughout the day. Average for men was 19, and average for women was 10. And so we're not necessarily thinking about it as often because we have 15,000 other things that are going on in our mind, right? And we're worrying about all of that. And so when you're talking about you can add this into your demo, you can talk about our Bath & Body products and how beautiful they make you feel and how sexy they make you feel. And so getting that and amping up those products will help to give you that desire to want to have sex because then you're feeling sexier. And so if you're feeling sexy, you have better sex. When we're not feeling sexy, we want our partners to get in, get it out, get it over with, don't look at me, hurry up, do your thing, right? Right.
You're not looking, are you?
Turn the lights off, turn away from me. We'll do doggy style so you don't have to look at me. So it's important that we're building up their confidence by some of our Bath & Beauty products so that they start to feel sexy. The next phase is arousal or excitement. And so this is where you can start to build into the enhancement creams and our lubrications and things like that. This is when your body prepares for intercourse. And so for men, erections happen. For women, your vagina begins to lubricate, your uterus begins to lift so that it's able to prepare for penetration. For both men and women, your nipples harden, your breathing quickens, your skin becomes more flesh because blood is flowing, and then blood flows to your genitals as well.
You said your uterus moves what, up?
It lifts.
Okay.
Yep, it lifts and it
I'm gonna use that in
elongates. So
parties.
this is where it,
I
Yeah.
know, but if it moves out of the way, I'm gonna be like, listen, when you don't get the foreplay, it's jamming you in the uterus. Like, that's not good. Like, like, girl, move your uterus out the way, get the massage.
right?
Move your uterus. Okay, thank you.
You're good. And so excitement and arousal is a combination of mind and body. And so the biggest thing is that your brain is your largest sex organ. If your head's not in the game, the rest of the body doesn't go. And so that's where a lot of women who can be like, well, I'll be there, and then all of a sudden there's nothing. I don't orgasm, it's nothing. Well, are you thinking about the dishes? Are you thinking about the kids? Are you thinking about the work that needs to get done and the house is a mess? Well, then of course your brain's not gonna work. And your body's not gonna work as well. And so in practice, when I'm in my sex therapy role, I'm constantly talking about being present and being mindful and being in the moment, because without that, you're not gonna work. Right? Put on a blindfold. Use massage products. Massage is so important because it gets people to calm down. It gets people to relax, and it gets them, the sense of touch is arousing. And so in practice, there's a whole, in my counseling practice, we go through a whole massage technique, because most of the problem with a lot of people are that they're so focused on the orgasm. They're so focused on getting it done, and they're not worried about the pleasure that they're feeling. And so it's taking that focus and that that push on orgasm and that pressure out and bringing the pleasure back into the bedroom again. And so it's really important that you are talking about foreplay. Women need 12 to 20 minutes. 12 to 20 minutes for their vagina to be ready for insertion. Yes?
Sorry. I recently had a party where it was older women, and I knew her personally, so I know about her business, and she does this kind of stuff. So I was explaining that to them, and she kind of just like spoke me and told me that her man can make her come within a few minutes, that what she's done, and they told her that I wasn't talking about her finishing, I was talking about her vagina actually getting ready to insert something, and she just kind of seemed intimidating what I was saying, and I just kept on. I literally said, well, if your relationship is 1 of a kind, and you somehow can just have sex within 5 minutes, that's you, but most women, this is how it is for them, and this is what they come to me for.
Right. And so, sure, somebody can...
Better preach, girl.
Right? Right. Some women can orgasm in 3 minutes, and they can, quickies. That works for them, but not all women. And so the average woman needs that 12 to 20 minutes of foreplay. We're not getting it, but we need it. And so talking to them about just enjoying it, because the other thing is that if you have children, you're waiting for one of them to wake up or walk in, and you're like, oh my God, we need to hurry up and get this over. But that's that pressure part of things. And so you need to worry about having that intimate time. We don't get enough time with our partners. And so this is a place that you can reconnect again. Phase. This is kind of your third phase. This is when you have consistent state of arousal. Right before you are about to orgasm, it is just pleasure and feelings. There's also more physical changes that are happening. So your breathing is quicker, even more so. You are, there's more blood flow to your genital area, and so things are more intense and very noticeable that, okay, it's coming, literally. So, and then you have orgasm. So, like I said, an orgasm is all the same thing. There's different avenues that you can reach orgasm. When I'm about to talk about my toys, I say, all right, ladies, so here's the deal. There are 5 different areas of stimulation that you can have that achieve orgasm. You can orgasm through your nipples, and so then I'll say we talked about bosom buddy. You can orgasm clitorally through your clitoris, your vagina, your G-spot, and anally. And so there are different avenues, but your body is doing the same thing. And so it's that climax, that heightening, the involuntary muscle contractions. And so there's just different ways that you can get there. I don't know about your cervix, but, and so during orgasm, men ejaculate. And some women are able to have multiple orgasms, one right after another, right? I'm jealous of those women.
Right.
And so, but not everyone experiences orgasm every single time they're having sex, and that is okay. Normalizing that, as long as you are enjoying what's going on in the bedroom and you're enjoying that time, it doesn't need to happen every time. You don't need to fake it. Unless you feel like you really do, but you really don't need to fake it. It's quite common for men not to be orgasming every time during sex. Like I said, because that clitoral stimulation is needed. And so that's where our C-rings are really important. And so then you have resolution. And so this is the final stage. Your body returns back to normal. Your partner is generally crashed and they're sleeping at this point. Some women are like that too, or some women are running around the house and cleaning everything because they have so much energy now. And so blood starts to flow away from the genitals. Men experience a refractory period or a resolution period. So this is where they cannot achieve orgasm again for a period of time. Some men is 10, 20 minutes. Some men could be hours. And so it just really depends on their bodies. And so women, we are lucky because we don't need that rest period for us to go again. And so sexual response is unique to everybody. Everyone's different in those patterns. Again, though, the biggest thing is that people need to get out of their head and get into bed.
Ooh, wait, we all got right down now.
I made that up, actually. That was
All right.
right there. So it's really, really important that they are just enjoying themselves and having fun. But you can incorporate all of these things into your demo. And so while you're talking about the desire, you're talking about bath and beauty. While you're talking about arousal, you're talking about foreplay. You're talking about our lubrications. You're talking about the enhancement creams. When you're talking about orgasm, you talk about the toys. Right? So this can all work within your demo. And so I see a ton of different things that women come into the room with when they're in the ordering room. A lot of women are having difficulty reaching orgasm. When you have someone who says, I don't have an orgasm, I don't know if I've ever had an orgasm, making sure that they're talking to a doctor first and foremost, making sure everything is medically okay. Please don't ever try and answer a question if you don't know what the answer is. Refer them to someone else or tell them that you're going to find the answer and then come back again to them, that you'll reach out to them. And so there could be many reasons why women are not orgasming. There could be medical illness, gynecological issues, medications, if they're using drugs and alcohol, aging, mental health stuff. Anxiety is huge. So if you have anxiety and you're not performing and you're not able to orgasm, or your partner's not able to orgasm, a lot of it is because of that anxiety. If you have guilt, you have fear, you have societal pressure, relationship issues. And then you're thinking, what's wrong with me? Why can't I do this? Why can't I please my partner? Why can't they please me? Yes.
You were talking about that orgasm is always the same thing. There are different avenues. Is it normal where one avenue just doesn't work for
Sure.
a person?
Yeah, absolutely. Not all women can orgasm through their nipples. Absolutely. So not all women have vaginal orgasms. They're not getting that stimulation. Absolutely. You find, and that's also really important when someone is not able to orgasm, asking if they're masturbating, if they're touching themselves. Because if you don't know how to make yourself orgasm, how can you teach a partner? Right? Ashley?
Okay, so I'm putting up some love story right now. I had a girl, a client that I was talking to. She knows how to orgasm with a toy, does not know how to orgasm with pop. Is what that makes sense.
Yep. And so in that case, again, and a lot of it is exploring her body, being comfortable exploring her body, talking to her about what type of stimulation that she needs. Is she getting that stimulation while she's having sex? So if she's using a bullet every time she's had, and that's when she's orgasming, is she having sex and then not getting clitoral stimulation at the same time? So it's really kind of figuring out what they're doing, and then how we can help them with, maybe she needs a bullet like flirt that can stick inside of your labia while you're having sex, and it stays there and giving you that stimulation if they don't want to use a C-ring. If they're using an insertion toy, talking about, there's a lot of different things. Is she putting pressure? Is she squeezing her vaginal muscles while she's using the toy, and she's not when she's using, when she has sex, or when she has a penis inside of her?
And even for her, just herself, not necessarily with her husband, but just
Yep.
herself.
Yeah. Is she thinking too much? Is she in her head? Is she putting that focus on, why can't I make myself orgasm? Why can't I make myself orgasm? Why am I not doing this? Why am I not doing this?
Yeah.
Instead of just relaxing, enjoying the pressure and the pleasure. So there could be a lot of things that might be going on with it. So, with not the inability to orgasm or not being able to achieve the orgasm that you want, communication again is huge. So they should be talking to their partner about what's going on, what feels good. Also talking about their partner about how they need to be initiated. You know, I heard some ladies talking about how their partner just lays their penis out and thinks, oh, okay, here it is, right? Oh, that's sexy. So, finding out what works. Right, exactly. So, do you need candles? Do you need a bath drawn for you? How awesome would it be your partner's right, exactly. If they said, I've laid a bath for you, I'm putting the kids to bed, I would be like, okay, take me out.
You already ordered it.
Right, exactly.
You'd blink and I'd be naked.
That's
my leg already twitching.
Yeah.
You mentioned with the men the resolution and not being able to orgasm. I was under the impression they couldn't get an erection.
It can be both.
Oh, okay.
Some men are not able to even experience erection. Some men can still keep their erection after they've orgasmed, but it takes a long time for them to be able to orgasm again. A lot of it too can be the messages that they think about sex. Do they think sex is dirty? Do they, are they worried about certain aspects? Lots of women do things and positions and different acts just to please their partner, but they're not okay with it. And so they're worried about what their partner is thinking. And so, again, it's really being okay with what you're doing in the bedroom, and it's okay if you're having anal sex, and it's okay if you enjoy it. It's okay if you love deep throating. Have at it, more power to you. Right? But it's owning what you're doing.
So true though.
Yeah, it's owning what you're doing, because if they're not okay with what they're doing, then how can they experience pleasure out of it? And it's also you being comfortable. If you're not comfortable with anal sex or talking about anal sex, then you also maybe need to take that out of your demo, right? Because you know that we've got all kinds of people coming in and going, oh my God, he pooped on me. You never know what you walk into.
It was only that one time.
Right.
Just for a second. It was almost a daisy.
Jen was talking about your customers trusting you, right? So if they trust you, I have had many, many women unfortunately come in and disclose sexual assault. And that's why it's not pleasurable for them to have sex. Or I can pinpoint it. I had a customer one time, and we were the entire demo. She's going, nope, won't do that, nope, that's awful. And I'm thinking to myself, why did you come? What are you doing? And in the ordering room, she had been forced to provide oral sex to her ex-boyfriend, and she hated it, and she gagged every time. And now she didn't know what to do with her new boyfriend because she wanted to please him, but she would have flashbacks afterwards. So it's creating that trust, and if someone talks to you about those things, it's being comfortable and they feel like you are the most important. They're not the most important, but that you are someone they can talk to about it. And so it's not judging, it's being open with them and just, thanking them for telling you that as well. And then talking about maybe you read one of our books that have some really great info on how to provide pleasure and things like that. So you may also have people who talk about vaginal pain, that it hurts. Check if they're using lubrication. The amount of women who I talk to are like, no, I'm good.
I just use my spit.
Right?
And I've always liked that cheeseburger you ate for lunch is now in your vagina.
Yeah, cheeseburger.
That's a good one.
And on top of that, she's really, really flexible. She can spit down there. Right? So talking about how important lubrication is, because they are chafing their vagina if they think that they have enough lubrication, and then it burns when they're peeing. That may not be an STD, but you should probably go get checked out if it's constant. But it's because they're tearing their vagina, and lubrication is a quick fix. And so it's really important that they are aware of that as well. And so we have the vaginal dilator set. Okay. We have the vaginal dilator set. That can be used, but obviously speaking to a doctor before that. If they're having any type of pain, they should be consulting a doctor. Really, really, really important there. So Any other questions? I think I'm
I do, I have one.
Yeah.
I have a customer, they're an older couple, and her husband, like, drinks beer every day, it's like, just his thing. And he smokes too, like, smokes marijuana. And she says, we haven't had sex in 5 years, I don't even talk to him about it anymore. And, you know, and she's like kinda asking me, like,
What do I do?
What do I do? Is it because he has this lifestyle? And he's been like that for years and years and years. Like, and so I didn't know exactly how to approach that situation, because medically, I'm like, is that the reason why he's not even considering having sex?
It could definitely be. Alcohol is a huge factor in men's sexuality. Big, 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 big. And they don't realize it
Yeah.
a lot of times. In that situation, I would recommend a counselor.
Okay.
Yep, I'd recommend a counselor.
A counselor.
Yep. Women also think that we're their counselors.
Yeah, because I looked at her like, I think that's beyond. pure
Right.
romance.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was,
Yep,
yeah,
that's relationship counseling.
yeah, okay.
Yeah. Yes.
I just wanted to add to what Nicole said about the vaginal dilator set. If you connect with your local OBGYNs, bring them an actual vaginal dilator set to you. I don't think you'd be surprised at all if all of the customers they send your way, because our set is virtually pharmaceutical grade, but it's about a third of the price that a lot of these women have to pay out of pocket to get these sets. So make sure you're connecting with your local OBGYNs.
That's great.
Right?
I've never sold one.
No. Me neither. No. People ask all the time, like, why do you need to open your vagina even more? Don't you want to shrink it? But it's
Not
for the
if it
vaginal
won't fit
pain.
anything in there,
Right.
sweetie. Some people are extra tight.
Yes. So there's that. There's cancer care patients that shrinks your vagina, and so there's lots of those things that can happen too. Anything else? Okay. All right, ladies. Thank you.